Profit driver Audi's suffering from stagnant earnings from slumping demand in its core European markets.
The electric car market in Europe is not taking off, and the industry already seems to be in crisis.
Audi's renaissance has come to an end.
Operating profit in 2025 was 3.4 billion euros.
Audi's profit just got cut in half. 6.3 billion euros down to 3.4 in just 2 years.
Audi's operating profit edged up just over 0.5%.
The margin dropped from 9% to 5%. Cash flow fell by almost 30%.
Now Audi, honestly, unfortunately, it's not itself.
On sale in Belgium for 80,000 euros will be stopped.
In J.D. Power's quality study, the brand that built its whole name on quality scored 269 problems for every 100 cars. Dead last in this survey. They burned 12 billion euros on software that never worked. They are cutting 7,500 jobs, and they closed a factory in Europe for the first time in almost 40 years.
Audi have announced an additional, a whole lot more job losses and a whole lot more pain.
And then Germans' Achilles heel. In China, the market that made them rich, Audi just started taking the floorings off its own cars. That badge is over 100 years old.
The iconic 4 interlaced rings came up when 4 different automakers merged in 1932 to create what was then called the Auto Union.
And suddenly, Audi decided its own cars sell better without it. This is the Audi's current situation.
Wait a
minute, what is happening here? This is an Audi without Audi rings in the front.
A Chinese platform.
The company that spent 40 years telling us it built the best car in its segment.
A lot of manufacturers were caught out by this, but Audi's probably one of the more substantial ones in terms of how much energy and resources they put into and expected to get back from the electric car world.
So how does a brand fall this far, this fast? Audi didn't just end up here by one mistake or a miscalculation. Let's just highlight 5 of them. Number 5, and it's the strangest one. For decades, China was the money. Audi got there first, back in 1988. And the 4 rings became the cars successful people in China wanted. That's the empire that paid for everything.
Audi, the luxury automakers from Germany, are celebrating their anniversary in a faraway land. A ceremony showcasing popular models marks 25 years of business success.
Then Chinese companies like BYD, NIO, XPeng started designing, building, and shipping electric cars on 18 to 24 months cycle. While Audi's software took 5 years. They built and updated faster, felt smarter inside, and simply beat what Audi could build.
You won't believe what China is building right now. A car that literally jumps off the ground, another SUV that can drive straight into water and keep going like nothing happened, and vehicles that can spin like tanks or move sideways like they're glitching reality itself.
It got so bad that Audi's parent company, Volkswagen, spent $5.8 billion buying into an American startup, Rivian, just to get software that worked.
Germany's Volkswagen says it will work together with US auto startup Rivian to develop software for its cars.
And worse, in China, Audi did something close to unthinkable. Its new electric cars there now run largely on a Chinese company's technology, a firm called SAIC, and sell with no 4 rings logo.
Audi is no longer the teacher. They are the student, and they are buying their survival one component at a time.
This state-of-the-art plant, built within the SAIC Volkswagen site, represents an important step for Audi in strengthening its presence in China.
Just the plain Audi name. Let's just think about it, how it became upside down. The brand that once taught China how to build a premium car is now borrowing China's engineering.
Advanced automation with machine learning, driven quality control, and fully digital production management systems.
And hiding its own 100-year-old logo to sell it.
Audi's decision to base production in Anting highlights its strategy to adapt to local markets, create vehicles tailored for Chinese customers, and continue advancing in the electric mobility race.
With the Audi agenda, that's our plan, how we transform Audi to new energy vehicle worldwide, and especially in China. So
in that specific market, it needs the most. Number 4, and this one tells you where their head actually are. It's chaos in decision making. Period. While all of this was happening, the profit cut in half, the 7,500 layoffs, Audi shut its factory in Brussels, the first European plant Volkswagen had closed in almost 40 years.
This is the first time in the company's 87-year history it has mulled shutting a factory in its native country.
More than 3,000 people lost their work, and it cost about 2.5 billion euros to shut it down. But interestingly enough, in the exact same window, Audi was pouring a fortune into launching a Formula One team for 2026.
Audi officially enter F1 in 2026, but the lead up to the German giant's much anticipated debut has been troubled to say the least.
Then, funny enough, quietly it had to sell about a third of that race team to a fund from Qatar.
An announcement of an investment by Qatar's sovereign wealth fund is expected before the Qatar Grand Prix on December the 1st.
One that already owns 17% of Volkswagen, just to help pay for it. And that team, last season it scored 0 points. The worst team on the grid.
Sauber's on-track slump in the last couple of years.
I'm not against having a race team, I love it, but did the decision makers think about that mess, that situation? Did the race team and cars plan and build properly? I don't think so. Picture it from the floor of that Brussels factory. There is no money for your job, but there is plenty for a race car that finishes last. That's the choice Audi made.
The parent VW Group is taking drastic action to reduce costs, including Audi plant closures and thousands of jobs being cut. It's never a good look for a company to be doing this while pumping in massive resources to a motorsport project, especially F1, which is as expensive as it gets.
Number 3, and this one is almost funny, except it shows you how lost they got. In 2023, Audi decided to rename everything. Petrol cars would get odd numbers, electric cars even numbers.
Audi just announced that it is changing the way that it names its cars. Again, exactly.
Yeah. So the Audi A4, one of the most famous car names in the world, 40 years in the making, became the A5. The Audi A6 became the A7.
This is all a bit odd and confusing. What's going on here? So looks like Audi's released a new A4, but it's not the A4, it's the A5. But the A5 was a coupe, but now you can get it as an estate and a saloon. Is it a saloon? I don't know what's going on.
Buyers were confused, dealers were confused, and 2 years later, new management admitted the whole thing was a mistake and started switching it back. But only for future cars. The ones already sold under the new names are still out there on the road. A company that can't even agree with itself on what to call its own cars. Number 2, and this one is the one that you'd notice yourself the moment you sat inside. For years, the whole point of an Audi was the inside of it. Not the speed, not even the badge, the feel, real metal, materials that felt worth the money.
But that is real wood underneath, and it's thick too. It is very thick.
Audi did that better than anyone else, better than BMW, and in some cases, even better than Mercedes.
The Q7's cabin is spacious and beautifully appointed, with high-quality materials. Compared to rivals like the BMW X5 or Mercedes-Benz GLE, the Q7 holds its own in terms of both comfort and long-term ownership costs.
The interior of the A4 is really nicely detailed. The dash is nicely padded. The glove box, well, of course, is damped, but inside has a really nice lining to it. So everything here you'd expect from a luxury car.
And then, to save money, they gave it away. Sit in a new Audi now and you'll feel a scratchy piano black plastic and hollow panels, cheap plastics in a car that costs more than the car it's replaced.
As far as materials go, this is basically identical to the Q7 I did. That car was a Prestige.
The new Q5 went up nearly $7,000 to $52,000.
Starting around $52,000, the Q5 faces stiff competition from the BMW X3, Mercedes GLC, and Lexus NX.
Man, this car is pretty trash to live with.
So bottom line is, do not buy the Audi Q5 unless you like cheap stuff in your interior while you paid a premium for your luxury car.
It got bad enough that Audi's own head of product, standing at the Q5 launch, admitted it loud. His words, "We have certainly been better in terms of quality in the past, but we will get there again." The company had to stand up at its own launch and basically apologize for the car. And it's not just feeling. Over the last 5 years, on Consumer Reports reliability scores, Audi's big SUV averaged 43 out of 100. The BMW it competes with averaged 65. That's a totally different league. And finally, number 1, the one that started all of them. This is where it stops being embarrassing and it starts being hard to forgive. Audi's parent, Volkswagen, built a software division called CARIAD to make their own software and take on Tesla.
Create the software solutions that build the software-defined vehicle for the new era.
Instead, it became a money pit, around 12 billion euros. In 2023 alone, it lost 2.5 billion euros on its own. And interestingly enough, this software didn't even work. It came out late and full of bugs.
Cars rolled off production lines with software so broken that basic functions like over-the-air updates simply didn't work.
And held Audi's most important electric cars back by nearly 2 years.
Every delayed launch meant hundreds of millions in lost revenue. Every software failure damaged VW's reputation further.
While Audi sat waiting for software that worked, BMW and Mercedes walked in and took the electric market Audi was supposed to own. And funny enough, it's still broken today. Owners of the newest cars report frozen screens.
And even when you change drive mode, so we're gonna do drive select, we're gonna do dynamic, it doesn't really do anything.
Warning lights cascading for no reason, and the car slamming on its own brakes when nothing's there. Some of those repairs run 3,000 euros, out of warranty.
There is a very high chance you will need to replace the ABS module, and this is not cheap to say the least.
But here's the part I keep getting stuck on. In roughly the same stretch that 12 billion vanished into software that didn't work, Volkswagen paid its shareholders 12 billion euros in dividends. The exact same number.
How are you today, handsome?
I'm not in crisis mode. You know, automakers are, however. I also haven't lost $12 billion in a year, so I'm doing great, Dad.
And in Germany, Audi announced it was cutting 7,500 jobs. So the money was there, it went to the shareholders, and the real people who built cars got a letter telling their job was gone. And that's what I keep coming back to. For 40 years, Audi sold one promise: advancement through technology. You bought one because it was supposed to be the smartest, best made car in the market.
We are shaping the future today, and we are always looking for new ways to make tomorrow even better.
Now the technology comes late and broken. Quality ranks dead last, and in China, the badge is gone. Audi isn't finished yet. But the premium brand sells one thing: the feeling that it's worth more than the rest. You can fix a bad year on a balance sheet quickly. Winning back someone who felt cheated takes far longer. And that's what Audi is short on now. Thanks for watching. I'm SAIC. You've just watched Carisma. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and you can share this video with yours as well. I will catch you up in the next one. Thank you.